Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskrityam.
Narayanam
Narayan
Namaskritam.
Namaskritam.
Naranchaiva Narottamam.
Naram
Naram
Chaiva
Chaiva
Narottamam.
Narottamam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Devim
Devim
Saraswatim
Saraswati
Vyasam.
Vyasam.
Tato Jayamudirayat.
Tato
Tato
Jayamudire.
Jayamudire.
Nashtaprayasu Bhadresu.
Ashtaprayesu
Nashtaprayasu
Avadresu.
Bhadresu.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Nityam
Nityam
Bhagavata
Bhagavata
Sevaya.
Sevaya.
Bhagavati Uttama
Bhagavati
Bhagavate
Uttamaśloke.
Uttama
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
Bhakti
Bhakti
Bhavati
Bhakti
Naistiki.
Reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, title Conclusion, the Perfection of Renunciation. And verse number today is verse number 17. Yasya nahankruto bhavo
Yasya naham krita bhava.
buddhir yasya na lipyate
Buddhir
Buddhi
yasya na
Yasana
lipyate.
Lipyate.
hatva visa imam lokan
Hatvapi sa iman
Hatvapisa Imam
lokan.
Lokam.
nahanti na nibhadyate
Nahanti na
Nahanti na
nivadyate.
Nivadyate.
yasya naharankrito bhavo
Yasya
Yasya
naham krita
Narankrito
bhava.
Bhavo.
buddhir yasya na lipyate
Buddhir
Buddhir
yasya na
Yasana
lipyate.
Lipyate.
hatva visa iman lokan
Hatvapi sa
Hatvapisa
iman
Imam
lokan.
Loka.
nahanti na nibhadyate.
Nahanti na
Nahanti na
nivadyate.
Nivadyate.
Any Prabhuji would like to lead?
Yasya naham krita bhava.
Yasya
Yasya
Nahankrito
nahankrito
Bhavo.
bhavo
Buddhir yasya na lipyate.
Buddhir
buddhir
Yasana
yasya na
Lipyate.
lipyate
Hatvapi sa iman lokan.
hatva
Hatvapisa
visa
Imam
iman
Loka.
loka
Nahanti na nivadyate.
Nahanti
nahanti
na
na
Nivadyate.
nibhadyate. Anyone else, Prabhuji?
Yasya Naharkrito Bhavo.
Yasya naham
Yasya
krita
nahankrito
bhava.
bhavo
Buddhir Yasana Lipyate.
Buddhir yasya
buddhir
na
yasya na
lipyate.
lipyate
Hatvapisa Imam Loko.
hatva
Hatvapi sa iman
visa iman
lokan.
lokam
Nahanti na Nibhyatyate.
Nahanti na
nahanti na
nivadyate.
nibhadyate. Thank you. Word by word meaning. Yasya, one whose.
Yasya, one whose.
No, never.
No,
No,
never.
never.
Ahankrita, a false ego.
Ahankritaha, false
Ahankita
ego.
false ego.
Bhava, nature.
Bhava,
Our
nature.
nature.
Buddhi, intelligence.
Buddhi,
Buddhi intelligence.
intelligence.
Yasya, one whose.
Yasya, one
Yes,
whose.
one who's.
No, never.
No,
No,
never.
never.
Lipyate is attached.
Lipyate.
Lipyate is attached.
Hatva, killing.
Atva,
Hatva
killing.
killing.
Api, even.
Api, even.
Sa, hey.
Sa, hai.
Iman, this.
Iman, this.
Iman.
Lokan, world.
Lokan.
Lokan, world.
No, never.
No,
No, never.
never.
Hanti, kills.
Hanti, kills.
Antik.
No, never.
No,
No.
never.
Nibadhyate, becomes entangled.
Nivadhyate becomes entangled.
Nipantangle.
Translation by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. One who is not motivated
One who is not
One who is
motivated
not motivated
by false ego,
by
by
false ego,
false ego,
whose intelligence is not entangled,
whose
whose
intelligence is
intelligence
not
is not
entangled,
entangled,
though he kills men in this world,
though
though
he
he
kills
kills
men in
men
this
in
world,
this world,
does not kill,
does not kill,
does not kill,
nor is he bound by his actions.
nor is
nor
he bound
is
by
he
his
bound
actions.
by his action.
Purport, anybody would like to read this page?
In this verse, the Lord informs Arjuna that the desire not to fight arises from false ego. Arjuna thought himself to be the doer of action, but he did not consider the supreme sanction within and without. If one doesn't know that a super sanction is there, why should he act? One who knows the instruments of work himself as the worker and the Supreme Lord as the Supreme Sanctioner is perfect in doing everything. Such a person is never in illusion. Personal activity and responsibility arise from false ego and godlessness or a lack of Krishna consciousness. Anyone who is acting in Krishna consciousness under the direction of the Super Soul or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even though killing doesn't kill, nor is he ever affected by the reaction of such killing. When a soldier kills under the command of a superior officer, he is not subject to be judged. But if a soldier kills on his personal account, then he is certainly judged by a court of law.
Very nice. Thank you so much. Let's all chant together. Agyana timirandasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurmilitam yena tasmai Sri Gurave namo Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaka Damaiham Dadati Swapadantikam Bandeham Sri Guru Sri Utapatakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatang Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakha Vitamscha हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नीलाचल निवास नित्य परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्रा अभ्यां जगन्नाथाय नमः. So thank you so much for joining this wonderful sangha in this sequence of events which is getting to the end of the Bhagavad Gita, which with the chapter titled Conclusion, the Perfection of Renunciation. Last time during our 17.16, we had discussed the doership mentality. You know, the doership mentality is very, very significant in our ability to understand Bhagavad Gita. So, Krishna in 18.16 talked about the qualities of a fool in trying to think that whatever desire he's doing and on that desire he's acting, he is the responsible for everything around it. So that's a doership mentality. But as you know, the Krishna is the eventual sanctioner, and there are 5 things which goes into the entire effort to transform, to manifest into some form of outcome. You want a body, you want the soul, you want the karana, the demigods which manage the senses, then you need the endeavor, then you need the super soul to really drive or rather sanction the outcome of the work. So there are 5 things, there are 5 factors. So the person is just 1/5 of the entire equation, and that too the person is not perfect in any form or shape. So to think that you are the doer is foolish. So now after 16, Krishna has just told the opposite of how doership mentality is foolish. So in this verse, Krishna is talking about how he is the how the importance of being a non-doer is. So here, the person who is a non-doer mentality oriented, the person who doesn't have false ego, nahankrito. Ahankrita means one who has ahankar, and the person and naha ankrita means the person who is not induced by the effect of ahankar, nahankrito. The person who thinks that he is not the doer and who is not motivated by the false ego, nahankrito, and then his buddhir yasya nalipyate. That means his intelligence is not attached. Most of the time, whenever we are playing cricket, for example, whenever we are doing some work, most of the time our intelligence is used by aligning ourselves to something which we are attached to. Like, say, for example, you're doing a work, and by doing a work, by oversharing your experiences, you think you'll be able to get attention of the project, and you tend to get attached to the work, trying to showcase your work more and more to the team without knowing that that work is just a small element of the entire equation. Even if you end up doing rocket science around the work is not going to give the outcome or the KPI of the project upside down. So you are very much attached to the work. But when you are attached to the work, your actions are not oriented towards the outcome of the project. You may be having a little portion of the work, and in order to get attached to that particular portion of the module or work you are doing, you tend to show off, you tend to get attached. But that outcome, when it is not aligning with the outcome of the project, then your work is a show off. It's full of ahankar because your action is attached to the outcome of your personal pride, but not the project. So then Krishna goes on to say that hatva bhisaiman loka. That means if a person who is not attached to his archery skills and he's just doing the job at the instruction of his spiritual master or his guru or the supreme personality of Godhead, or in a manner which is unattached, even if he kills, then he is not entangled by the killing. So what a powerful statement Krishna is giving. So if you just dissect these words in the right context, Krishna is saying if a person is not attached, is not using his intelligence in an attached manner, and who is free from false ego, then even if he kills, he's not entangled. So very powerful. And Srila Prabhupada is also mentioning, giving an example, that when in army there is a soldier, and the soldier is killing at the instruction of his manager, of his lieutenant, of his commander, he will not be held responsible for killing 10, 20, 30, 40 people on the battlefield. But he resigns from army or armed forces, and then he becomes a civilian, and at his own jurisdiction, he goes on to kill under the control of his intelligence, which is in a very wrong place, time, circumstance. Then he will be held accountable. So we have to just think about how much Krishna is talking about this verse, the importance of this verse. So whenever we think we are doing prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasa ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. When our mind and soul is bewildered by the influence of the false ego, ahankara, the false ego thinks himself to be the doer of activities that is actually carried out by the three modes of material nature. So In Bhagavad Gita 3.27, Krishna mentions this. So we have desire, right? We can do everything, but as we discussed, there are 5 things which drives the outcome of the effort. Effort and chesta is just 1/5 of it. So when the person is making the desire, the Supreme Person is sanctioning the desire. Person is making the desire, the Supreme Person is sanctioning the desire. And here, Prakriti Kriyamanani, and the nature Prakriti is facilitating the desire. So just by you making the desire, things are not going to happen. You're going to make the desire, you're going to do the chesta, which is 1/5 of the 5 factors. And that too, your chesta might not be 100%, and you are not a perfect individual. But the sanctioner is someone else. The sanctioner is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then when the sanctioner sanctions, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead sanctions, the nature, Prakriti, is facilitating the desire so that the outcome happens. So, as you can see, that just by having the desire or having chesta or having efforts done to the desire is not enough. So there are 5 things, as Krishna is mentioning: adhisthana, karta, karana, chesta, daivyam. So there are 5 things which, so that's why when you see bad things happening to good people and good things happening to bad people, people don't realize that the goodness or the chesta is just 1/5 of the 5 factors. And here Krishna is saying the mentality, the non-doership mentality is special, because when you are doing under the surrender or under the supervision of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then, and you are just doing it as a service, then whatever is the outcome of that effort is taken as a, as an outcome which is primarily the prasad of the Lord. And for the prasad of the Lord, whether it is a good prasad or bad prasad, whether it is a sweet prasad or a sour prasad, prasad is prasad, and it has to be taken in that context. So the non-doership mentality is very, very significant in our ability to understand Krishna consciousness. Why non-doership mentality is superior is because when you are under the supervision of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we tend to do the thing as a sense of duty, not expecting anything in return. And when we do that, if you manage to kill somebody, as Srila Prabhupada is mentioning and Krishna is mentioning, you are not entangled by that. So, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning here very nicely that if he is not motivated by false ego and his intelligence is not entangled, that means he is not selfish. So when he kills, the effect is he's not bound by the action of killing. So this has to be understood with an attitude. This has to be understood with the right attitude. Because say for example, you are making paneer, okay? The knife is cutting the paneer slabs. Can the knife say that I am responsible for the nice taste of paneer? Or even paneer, for example, paneer in its slab is not very tasty. Can the paneer by itself claim that I am responsible? There is a person who is using his intelligence, who has used various combination of spices to make it happen. So if the knife in this case says, I am responsible for such nice taste of paneer, butter or whatever, then that is incorrect. So that doership mentality has to be shunned. Fools, as Krishna in 17.16 is mentioning, fools have the doership mentality. I did this, I did this, I did this. When you end up doing I did, you become meh, and you quack like a goat, like meh. So this meh or the me mentality is a very selfish mentality. And that is the reason why when you surrender everything and you are not motivated by any false ego, then whether you kill or you do anything, you're not bound by the actions. That's why when Prahlad Maharaj was under the surrender of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, nothing could happen to him. Nothing could happen to him. He was he was thrown. He was crushed. Nothing could happen to him because he's not bound by his action. Somebody else is taking his activity. So never ever think that we have nothing in this world, and in this outcome of when we talk about various demigods who control our uh, senses, we realize that we may have the eye, but if you don't have the sense of sight, then the eye is a challenge. And that is the reason why Lord gives us, Lord sends the demigod, which gives us the sense of sight. So whatever we have, we should have it, preserve it, cherish it, and thank the Supreme Lord for having it. There are so many challenges in this world. There is so many wars happening, and there's so many people getting affected by this war. And we realize when all these things happen, we are nothing in control. We have nothing. We don't have any say in our ability to control anything in this world. And we are just mere puppets at the hand of the Supreme. And more you realize so many things happening around the world is not within the control. So many things are taken away. Bali Maharaj, he was the lord of all the lokas. And when Bhamana Dev came, Bhamana Dev, through his first step, took one loka, with the second leg, took another loka, and with the third leg, he pushed Bali Maharaj to anyone. And Bali Maharaj could see that his entire kingdom is being taken away. His entire loka planetary system is being taken away. And he could just see and look at Ramachandra. We are just celebrating the Pran Pratishtha of Ramji in his birthplace. On that clinical night in Ayodhya, he was about to be coronated, and in that same night, Manthara went and brainwashed Mother Kaikeyi, and Mother Kaikeyi went to the sulking chamber, and from then you saw the situation of Ramji, which was upside down, which just turned around. Ramji didn't utter a single word. He went to forest, and when God's destiny could be changed in a single night, then we are nothing in the hands of the God or hands of anyone for that matter. And so this doership mentality has to be shunned. And whenever we have a surrender mentality as being non-doer, then when we do that, then we make the desire, the Supreme Person sanction the desire, and the nature facilitates the desire. And in doing so, we feel surrendered to the Supreme in our ability to further our sadhana in Krishna consciousness by fulfilling the process in the right manner. Whatever happens, good or bad, is at the hands of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we just have to have that right attitude of thinking that we are nothing. We're just puppets in the hand of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Once you have that, you can go to any extent in taking his words positively and influencing it in your own way, in fulfilling your life, in fulfilling your desire. You can go up in your company life and in your, but having the right attitude to surrender, the attitude of gratitude under the Supreme Personality of Godhead is significant in your ability. Because if you're uh, under his jurisdiction, even if you end up doing something, then nothing is going to happen. Till the time Arjuna was thinking that he is the doer, he just couldn't hold the bow. But after he held the bow, he could just decimate the enemy. And shunning the doership mentality is critical in your sadhana, in our sadhana, in our ability to understand Krishna consciousness. So we can go on and on, but like to end here, like to hear your comments, questions, and reflections as to how we should enhance your mentality or attitude of surrender by not thinking that we are the doer and embracing the non-doer mentality by shunning ahankar in our lives. Hope today's discussion was meaningful, but anyway, I could add more context. When by any way you could add more context, it will be wonderful to hear from all of you. Shila Prabhupada ki jai.
Sorry, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, all good Shila Prabhupada. Are you in India now?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
I am in India.
Did you go to Ayodhya Dham?
No, I could not go, Prabhuji. I
Okay.
just saw in the TV.
Mm-hmm. You plan to go there, right? Sometime near future?
Maybe, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. How is everything? Everything all right, Prabhu?
All right, Prabhuji. All right.
Very nice. Very nice. Any question or comments from anyone?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Nice class Prabhuji, as usual. So Prabhuji, this is false ego, right? So due to false ego only, someone thinks that no, he is a doer, right? Due to this false ego. I mean, it's very difficult to. I mean, we know everything. Like there are 5 factors when we do any activity, right? We thought that we are the I'm the doer, but actually we also have to consider the remaining 4 factor also. But like this false ego, right? I mean, it's very difficult to sometimes when we are in the devotees that we feel that but other time it's very difficult to control this false. Somehow other is it comes actually uh, because this is how actually we came to this material world, right? From spiritual world, okay. So how to control? I mean, is there any? I know like Krishna consciousness is the way actually, but how I can remember every time? I am very minute. Like I don't have anything to hear. I mean, I have very small. How do I remember every time this so that I will not uh, consider like I am the doer of the thing what I am doing.
Very nice question, Prabhu. Prabhuji's question, generally speaking, to cut to the chase, is how do we shun this ahankar, right? This ahankar is very much part and parcel of our foundation, of our stature, of our position in job, our position in society. And because of that, we are what we are in the society. And if I shun it, then my social structure, my interactions, my values will take a nosedive. So question becomes, how do we shun ahankar? Prabhuji, we all are in a very conditioned state. We all have come from different situations. And because we are come from very different situations, our value system is very different. Our value system in understanding the relationship, our value system in understanding who has stature in a family or in society is very different. And that is what constantly keeps everybody held with the system, and they do not want to give it up. So which is why a person who is wielding power in a society or family or anybody, he doesn't want to give it up. So this is because of something called moha. And and moha or attachment is a critical thing which draws a person to keep doing attached activities again and again and again. So the question becomes, how does this moha attachment be reduced? So life gives a very unique situation in all our lives. Sometimes a person will be doing very well, you'll see. They'll be doing very well, but they will lose their job. All of a sudden, you realize the person has changed, the person's behavior has changed. And sometimes a person will be full of ego, he won't talk to you. After 5 years, you see the person is talking very nicely. And then you realize he went through some health challenges. So Srila Prabhupada mentions that when the Guru tells you, you accept and do it because the Guru tells you. If the Guru tells you that stealing is wrong, don't do it, you just don't do it. But if you say, I want to try and see whether the Guru is telling the truth, so you go, you get beaten up. Then you realize, hey, Guru was telling the truth. There are another kind of people who will get beaten up, then they will do it again, then they will go to jail, then they will come back, and then they will realize stealing is bad. So the point is, moha is bad, ahankar is bad. It's as simple as that. But why do you want nature, prakriti kriyamanani? Why does you want prakriti to eventually facilitate and end up doing a situation in your life which will make you humble? So before nature, before the Supreme Personality of Godhead, if we know that, Prabhu, I'm just giving a very crude solution. I know it is not a simple solution, but it is as simple as that. That if you don't do it, the Lord will come down like Vamana Dev to make it happen to Bali Maharaj. Prakriti will come down and make it happen. So that's why an intelligent person always takes scripture seriously. And I know it is not a very poetic answer, but it's as simple as that. So if we do not have a way to curtail our ahankar, a time will come, a situation will arise that will be forced to curtail it ourselves. Something will come. So it is better to align it based on this discussion, take some benefits from this discussion and input it in our life so that it helps. Does that answer your question, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, nicely explained. So, Prabhuji, one more thing, how do I consider, because Arjun also, right, in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, I mean, he is one of the pure devotee of the Lord, right? I mean, still, I mean, he also had false ego. He doesn't want to fight, right? Initially, then Krishna tells Bhagavad Gita to,
Yeah.
to purify its knowledge, right? And
Yeah.
how do I consider even like everyone has false ego? Like even Arjuna also has false ego. Like
Right. But Arjuna's situation was even grave, Prabhu. Arjuna's situation is his uncle, his Arjuna's situation. We are nowhere Arjuna's like. We lead a very simple life, 9 to 5, with a family, and in this place, the life is very comfortable. And Arjuna, you're right. Arjuna also had the false ego, but Arjuna's problem magnitude is unthinkable, and he had to kill his grandfather, Vishmadev.
right, yeah.
He has to kill his teacher, Dronacharya. He has to kill all his brothers he played with. So he's actually a hero, Arjuna and Hanuman. As you get more and more into Krishna consciousness, your heroes, Ramji and Krishna, initially were your heroes, but then you realize the servitors are true heroes because they went through transformation. Hanuman could have cleaned up Lanka, but he just couldn't. The curbing of that desire to not burn and kill Ravana is a big thing for that ability to go through the motions and challenge himself and then get the dose and knowledge, transcendental knowledge from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then do is a big thing. The tears come out, and how many times tears come out in our eyes. So our situation is very simple, and the yardstick and the guidelines are very much laid out so beautifully. So as long as we follow it, it's like your speed breakers, right? You go on the highest speed to the corner, and the speed breaker would alert you, and you will come back. Likewise, Prabhu, it's very important in our lives to use Bhagavad Gita's message as a speed breaker, so that it aligns you, and this association every week gives us that impetus and confidence to mend our ways.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you. Thank you for the explanation.
Thank you, Prabhu, for the question. And Triloka Prabhu and Prajapati Prabhu, if you have any comments.
No, thank Prabhuji. I joined later on, in fact.
Yeah, no problem, Prabhu. But last we had Ram Katha every evening from Ayodhya-kand, Balkand, and it was going on. And last Saturday I had to, but we'll resume it more regularly. And we are all very ecstatic to see people's happiness in Ramji's arrival.
Every day Ram Katha is going on, Prabhuji?
It will end probably Monday, 7 p.m. Is life lessons from Mother Sita. Last Friday was life lessons from Hanuman. I think it is ending now, and it's ending within a day or two. So every day,
At what time, Prabhuji?
I'll send the message.
Okay,
It's at
Prabhuji.
7 p.m. New Jersey time, which is 5:30 India time.
Okay, Prabhuji.
5:30 morning.
Oh, okay.
I'll send the link in the group today itself.
Okay, Prabhuji. Okay.
Okay, Prabhu. We'll end here. If there is no other question, thank you so much. We offer obeisance at the lotus feet of all Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpataru vaishya kripa sindhu
Hare
vachpati
Gita
Kitanam
Pavanebhyo
Bhagavad
Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Vaishnavvrinda ki jai Bhagavad Gita Mahagrantha ki jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai Gaur Premanande
Hari
Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Hare.